Hey everyone, thanks for joining us at Wave Podcast. So Wave's tied to the Ride the Wave Foundation. We empower people by providing free training to people seeking purpose. So anyone that's homeless, going through a hard time on the street, they could come in, get practical training, business type skills like how to find a purpose, positive leadership, mental health strategies. And on the flip side, providing training to people in middle to upper class to have the skills to be able to approach people in the streets they normally wouldn't. I'm Jeff Fischer. Let's ride the wave.
Mark Robinson, how's it going, my friend? Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for taking on the design project for Kristen and I. We both really, appreciate you taking the time, coming to the apartment, doing all that. It really means a lot. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for the opportunity to design and, giving me the opportunity to use my talents, my gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, I have a question for you. I meet Lorenzo. You meet him in Morristown.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in the first time in the cafe. What's your first impression of me?
Okay, who's this guy? What is he about? This, that, and the third. Is he gonna be for real? Is he gonna be, just all the obvious first impression questions.
Yeah.
Basically.
So were you skeptical talking to Lorenzo? Because Lorenzo and I went out, we had a couple of drinks, so we had built up a relationship a bit. So I think that he had an understanding of who I was. Definitely didn't have a full understanding because he was so much into the art. He didn't want to do the business thing, which was fine.
Yeah.
But when I met you guys, I could sense that, I think, a little bit too. I could kind of tell you were lenient, like where I was coming from and stuff like that. And I get that. I can understand that. Is that something that in your past, have you dealt with that? Or like if you want to tell us about yourself and where you grew up?
I mean, I'm like that in general with people, period. Like I'm, especially first meeting someone, I'm just like that. Like I'm skeptical of everybody.
Is that because you've had situations that have made you that way, or?
I mean, as life progressed and life, passes on, yeah, certain situations, happen.
Yeah.
But like I said, in general, that's just how I am with people.
Yeah, isn't it amazing though, you and I walking down the street, such a pair, right?
Yeah.
Like I got shades on sometimes with my gym shirt on after, and we're walking down, you and me, going to get tacos and hanging out as friends. And it's interesting how both our minds are too. Like I think that for me, I can see sometimes when we go in a pizza spot or how we had such a great interaction with the woman, the waitress in Morristown, how nice people are too.
Right.
But you tend to see a little bit of a different side too, walking around us together,
Well, yeah, like for instance, the guy in the parking lot when we went to go look at the apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
And I saw how it bothered you. That's why I told you to it's okay. Just take a breather.
Yeah,
it's
that was
okay.
tough.
I'm used to it.
I'm probably getting emotional because that was tough for me.
Yeah, that's why I told you. That's why I try to calm you down. Like, it's okay.
My hands,
I'm used to it.
Right? Dude, my hands were shaking. I haven't felt like that in a long time.
I saw that.
To explain to people what ended up happening, because Mark has been doing a really good job. He does would you say your type of art is classic sketching?
Art
and
I would
interior?
say like old school, just regular classic sketch.
Yeah.
Classic sketching.
Yeah, because that one countertop that we have, like you said, when we're done, having just a sketch with your initials on it, so Chris and I could keep that as our first place, like stuff like that. And you had also done a really good drawing and put it on the taco truck in Morristown, right across the street. So you were working on that project. We were working together on it. For you to get an eye so you could design certain things, you needed to see the apartment.
Right.
So we pull up, we go to the apartment complex. I'm in the driver's seat, sitting down, and the guy was walking his dog. Right?
Yeah. That's when we were walking back to the car.
You were standing. Were you smoking a cigarette out, or you were standing?
No, I was standing.
We
was both on our way back to the car, and the guy had pulled up from, I forget what kind of car it was, but the guy, I see him from afar. You didn't even see him, but I saw him.
I was on my phone. I wasn't paying attention.
Right, and so I was, I'm always aware, pay attention to my surroundings. So I see the guy, and when we started walking back to the car, he started walking with the 2 kids that he had.
Right, and he was walking a dog as well.
And a dog.
And a dog.
And when he got closer, it's like I could tell in his body language that he wanted to say something. Well, I could see the wheels turning in his head. Like, because he saw me and he saw you, he was like, are you guys okay? We all right?
I wondered if he ended up seeing me, or because for me, like I said, I was on my phone. So I'm sitting there and not really paying attention. You were outside of the car. We had to wait for the leasing manager to come to let us in. We were a half hour early.
Right.
And when I was sitting there, all I heard was the way he just talked to you, like how he said, "Can I help you?" And the tone, it was so rude. So I immediately kind of looked up. I don't know if he knew that I was in the car. He might have just saw you. It's possible. But, I immediately I let it go. I wanted to see how it would play out, what you would say a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I sat there just to see. You handled it very well, by the way. You were patient. Said, no, I'm not, bothering anybody. He walked away a little bit. I got out and said, hey, excuse me. This is a friend of mine, Mark. He's working on a design project to design our apartments, And he, what apartment? And he tried to be nice. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I would love to run into that guy. Not to have a confrontation at all. Actually, to speak to him, to see if he could record a quick snap to bring on here for the reasons. Because, I'll be honest with you, Mark,
I don't think he would be the type of guy to just because that first impression, his whole demeanor, I just leave it alone.
It's absolutely impossible now to look at my life the way it was before. To not pursue this as far as it can go. And also, it's just knowing how you are and what a nice guy you are and getting to know you, that somebody could just prejudge so quickly. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I would say anything, but previously, I might have a thought like that. I'm not gonna lie, it's a nicer apartment complex. What's this guy doing there? But I definitely probably would not. I don't think I would go and say something to you like that, in that manner, oh, can I help you? Because you didn't do anything to prompt that. So to me, I'm an optimistic person. And when we're walking around, I can see the people that do appreciate us sometimes, in the pizza spot or wherever too. So there is a good side to it. I don't think we both shouldn't focus on either or. I don't know.
Like I said, I'm used to it. Stuff like that, it comes and goes. I'm used to it. So it's neither here or there. Because I've been dealing with people like that and, stuff like that all my life. So especially where the town where I'm at now is, I see it every day. People don't come out and physically say anything, but I can see the wheels turning. I can see the judgment. I can see it all in their face and their body language. Women clenching their purses and walking by. I could be walking by with, my laptop bag and my phone in my hand. People will still clench their bags and break their neck to try to move on the other side of the sidewalk and, try not to walk too close. Just that. So I just laugh at them.
Because does it hurt your feelings?
No, because me worrying about that and me contemplating on that it does nothing but takes my energy that I don't have time for.
Yeah, it's a good mindset.
Like
It's too bad.
it does nothing for me but brings my thought and how I am as a person down. Me dwelling on stuff like that, it defeats. It's no purpose.
Right. Yeah. The I think Anthony Robbins
It's
said
just a waste of time.
energy goes energy flows where focus goes.
Yep.
So whatever you're focused on,
That's where your energy
you're gonna
is.
right. And how you speak, what you put out into the world. But to me, you're a very positive, laid back, good person that seems to have wanted to always do well. Tell me about growing up. Like, what kind of the people around you? What were they into? What were you doing? What's your background?
I grew up and been in Jersey all my life. Born and raised in Jersey, Jersey boy. Growing up, I knew I was different from a lot of my peers. I didn't partake in a lot of things that my peers did, but I did run the streets.
Mhm.
I did what normal kids do. Run the streets. Act wild.
Mhm.
Get into certain things. But I never put myself in a situation that I couldn't get out of. I stayed away from a lot of things.
You did. And in where you grew up and where you were a kid, is there a lot of pressures? How much of pressure is it to do those type of things right off the bat? When you're a kid, is everyone around you, the environment, is that what's usually happening? Or is it, some of your friends or your buddies may split off and go into certain things, or how to, if you could just expand on that, it'd be
Actually,
amazing.
growing up, I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of friends. I barely had friends growing up. Like, of course, I had friends going to high school, going to grammar school, middle school. You have friends like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like my definition of friends is like I've never really had really good friends.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel
that's one of the reasons why now to this day I walk around by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody that sees me around town, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, I don't need a crowd of people around me. I don't need this, that. I don't need it. Maybe when I was younger, I wanted it. I wanted to be in a crowd of people that would have my back as well as I would have theirs.
Yeah.
But not having that and seeing what can happen with having that, like crowd of people, like crowd of friends, y'all go out, this, that, and the third, you'll get into something. Friends can be left in a heartbeat. Like, your friends that came with you somewhere can leave you in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Leave you stuck somewhere. Just that quick.
Do you think it's trust and reliability when it just comes to people overall?
That's part of it.
When we were talking at one point, because I've had such just valuable interactions, conversations between Hal, Lorenzo, Daryl, yourself, and others. And I had asked you, I think, what if you had changed your appearance to be in a position to have conversations with people that go to Morristown that you normally wouldn't, to also get the other way around value. So if I'm having such valuable conversations with somebody such as yourself, when you're walking and you feel people are judging you, certain things like that, if you were to change your appearance, would that make a difference to you? Or would it be something that you'd want to do? And what was your answer to that?
No. I shouldn't have to change my appearance for people to accept me for who I am. I shouldn't have to change anything about me. Period.
So what's your goal, ultimately?
My goal is to get to people to understand that people that look like me, not all are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
there are still good people in the world. Yeah, we all made mistakes. I made mistakes growing up. I made mistakes as a teenager. I made mistakes as an adult. I admit my faults. We all have them. I accept my flaws and everything. And I know who I am. I know who I was when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things that I've been through, I look at it as my energy and my personality and who I am. There people can accept that.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really great and a good answer to when I had said that.
Not only they can accept it, they don't understand it.
Yeah, and like I said, getting to know you. I can never look at anything the same. And I do appreciate you also being kind enough to let me in your home and for me to see your place too. It was nice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I figured, why not?
Yeah.
I design, help and had a hand in designing yours, and I just wanted you to see my place, see how.
Yeah, I appreciate that. There's the audience, I'm sure, a decent amount of people that don't have an understanding of how either vouchers or things like that particular work. Like from your experience there, do you mind explaining how like that system works?
Well, the voucher that I have now is a Section 8 voucher, lifetime voucher. After a year, you can move anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You would just have to give the proper authorities 30-day notice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you would have to find a place, let them inspect the place. They would have to go to the place to inspect.
Okay.
Before you proceed to move in and things like that, because you're still under their voucher. So they would have to go and inspect the place and make sure everything is up to code and everything. And
okay.
Before.
I do want to take back something I said in the first episode when I was talking to Daryl, just because of that, because I had said that it's not going to come from like government programs, missions, things like that. But I think Wave could be a really good supplement to it. To have people every day, just like myself or any of my friends or something like that have a particular skill, right? So teacher, somebody that teaches math or, whatever it is, accounting, business, something like that. People every day just that have those skills to teach other people, because I think it's really important that, and even in the worst neighborhoods, the darkest places where the light is. So there's always going to be good people that want to do right. So I think it's important for people walking around. And I had started out by saying, open up a conversation, kind of an icebreaker, introducing, but then building trust next is extremely important. And for somebody like yourself or anyone out there that is genuinely good and wants to get out, I think it's up to kind of regular people, because it's not going to come from anywhere else, and that's how the country was built, and that's how we can help people.
Basically.
But dude, I value your friendship so much. I mean, I like hanging out with you. It's funny to me. That was fun with the waitress the other day in Morristown, like eating tacos and interacting, and then the baby, and you're like all nice. There's something to you and your energy that's great and brings a lot to the table. And it's a shame. People don't realize what they're missing when they prejudge like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like for general people, nowadays their mind is so set, and they've been taught and groomed certain ways for so long, they don't know nothing else. And it's sad.
I'm going to give you an example of something just after, not long ago, a couple of days ago. Chris and I went to go eat, and walking distance from our place. And, we're walking back. And as we're walking back, I don't really know the neighborhood too much. There is like 4 guys. This is like my test, right? Standing next to a black SUV with a pit bull, 4 black guys. And they looked like pretty jacked in shape too. One guy was smoking a blunt.
Mm-hmm.
I have Kristen with me. And I'm not gonna lie, I was just thinking, I mentioned to her, I'm a little uncomfortable, I don't know this neighborhood, maybe cross the street. Thankfully, I have a great soon-to-be wife who's amazing, and she held me accountable. Like, that's not what we usually say. And also, we're like a little too far. It's obvious. I ended up walking by, and they said, hey. I said, hi, and walked by, and it was nothing. So I did it, just then, there. But I don't know if I would have done it if I was alone. I was with Kristen, so, I don't know. I wanted to make sure that she was safe. But it was, it's interesting because in that situation, I just didn't know. I saw like a black tinted out SUV. There was a pit bull. Like, yeah, I mean that. But, when you think of it from a cultural aspect, the way I grew up watching movies, seeing things, that's all in our culture as well. That gets put out.
Right, but it's also acting. Like, not everything you see on TV is what it really is in the street, because it's acting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't.
Are you disappointed in me, Mark? Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I'm being honest. I'm being honest because it was, yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm shocked that you felt that way, to be honest. But I'm not shocked. I understand maybe why you felt that way, because of the world we live in right now that paints a picture to basically everybody that's.
But if I saw 4 Italian guys that were super jacked with a pit bull in their car, it was just the men they were like built. One guy, it was that as well. But when Chris said that, I thought about me and you, Lorenzo, stuff like that. And it was wrong of me to do that. I just was for a safety reason why and prejudged. So, I think that that's something that I have to figure out why and change too, because clearly it's still there. And I think that it's so easy and so quick for people to prejudge and label things, isn't it? Because life is so much more complex and we have so many different similarities as well. But it takes a little bit of work, and it takes getting over initial fear to get to know someone. And there's a lot of people that aren't willing to just do that. But it's amazing, that initial fear, when you get over it, because it gets easier each time. So if I were to start up a conversation with those guys and be nice to them, they probably would have reacted real nice to me. I'm not going to do that again. I promise. Sorry, Mark.
I mean, you gotta apologize to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it takes just a conversation. A hi and bye can just start, spark a conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's all it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm noticing certain things. There's a way to present yourself.
Right.
Not the RBF, resting bitch face or anything like that. You gotta stand, kind of act like you care. It's tough sometimes, but I also think that it's not practical if people think like, oh, I can't be in that state all the time too. Oh, I can't be approaching people all the time in the street because they're everywhere. Well, maybe once a week or once a month or something like that, because life does get busy and things happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there are certain strategies that I think, and that's the point of this, I think, is to next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next week is the first training. We're going to test it out. I think it's going to be like 5, 6. You can get to that amount exclusive and just feel it out and see how it goes.
Right.
And then get feedback after. We'll go over, things that I've learned from a business perspective, servant leadership, sort of positive things that could be brought to the table, and structure and strategies that way, in an angle where it's coming in on top of certain programs that don't really provide that. But yeah, it's wild, man. I think just everything that's been happening to me lately is transforming. And I like hanging out with you. It's fun. It's fun to see people's reaction.
Right. Like I said, it amuses me.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that you didn't want to change your appearance. And I think that is it's amazing that I would have never known that. And I could have just passed by knowing that that wasn't your main goal in your heart.
It's not that I didn't, I don't. I shouldn't have to change my appearance at all. Like, I'm not, no.
Yeah. But on the other end, you have to also too have,
I do need to get my hair done. That's about it. But
oh no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean no. Look, I respect that.
I just said it. I'm just speaking on myself.
Yeah,
I do need to get my hair done, but
yeah.
But other than that, I'm not changing my appearance to please no one.
Well,
no.
Yeah, no, I got you. The only thing I would say maybe to you is also you have to keep in mind and where you are too, because they built a couple, I don't know whether it's a law firm or something like that. There are people that have a decent amount of money that are coming in, especially they take the train in New York and stuff like that. And, it's not, Daryl said last time too, it's people that you're kind of not their problem, or they may see you a certain way. So, as long as you have an understanding that they're going to have that in their mind, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people, or they don't want to provide for their families and to
everybody
have good
wants
vibes.
Everybody wants to provide for their family. Who doesn't? Everybody wants a better life for either themselves, or their loved ones, if they have any.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. Everybody wants something good for themselves or either their family.
Yeah.
That's just inevitable.
Right, but if I'm walking down the street towards you, and in your mind you look at me and you say, he's going to judge me, isn't that a prejudgment right away on you too? I mean, you're seeing that I'm a white person, I'm walking down the road toward you. He's going to think a certain way of me right off the bat. So that also, when I met you guys, I thought what you were doing was really cool. I thought your artwork was interesting, but I really felt the hustle too. Lorenzo coming in, when I was coming out of training, there was a couple of days with work and ideas that kind of energy fueled me a little bit with you guys. I saw that you wanted to make something of yourselves, and you were doing the work with the, pencils all out on the table and like everything. I thought that was great. And I really appreciated that. So I never really looked at it like that, but I did sense a leniency, and that makes sense. But, I'm just saying, like, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, I think, by prejudging people that you think, because I think I know you almost manifest what you think. Like, the world brings you back what your thoughts are. Your perception is key, right? So if I'm going and when you buy or if somebody buys something and they see it everywhere, a new car that's blue and it's everywhere, stuff like that, you're looking or thinking that people are judging you. You're going to look at spots for that, I think. I look at positive stuff a lot, which could put me in a position of maybe being ignorant to some extent at times, but not ignorant. That's not the right word. Too nice. I don't know.
No, you look at positive stuff. That doesn't make you ignorant. It's just you like to focus on positive things. I mean, it's just common sense.
It's not natural for me. I work at it. I have to read every day. I read quotes, some scriptures, some stuff like that. I have a specific journal, gratitude-wise. Yeah, so to me, it's something that takes effort, and it's a proactive thing. Not everybody will do it. But I think that there's something to this and us just trying to see where it goes, because people should get to know you.
True.
It's good stuff, man.
And back to what you said when you said, if I saw you walking down the street, I would prejudge you. No, I wouldn't. Because, like I said, growing up, me seeing a white person walking down the street and thinking that they're going to judge me, I could care less.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I used to think about that stuff a long time ago, growing up. But now as an adult, it's water off the shoulders. I can care less who judge me or not. Mm-hmm. I don't have that type of energy to be worried about that stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't have enough energy and that type of energy to worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have too much more important things to worry about in my life to worry about who's judging me. I know people are going to judge whether I like it or not. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. You got a call from your mom the other day when we were eating. So your family, your mom, your dad, do you have a...
No, my dad is deceased.
He's deceased, okay.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Appreciate it.
And did you grow up with your mom?
Well, my mom that raised me, yeah. I was fortunate to have a woman to take me in and raise me. You know, one of the gifts that I have been presented with, the loving of a mother.
Yeah.
Because I was separated from my mother at a young age. So, you know, I was granted another mother, so to speak.
Yeah.
That raised me and that I speak to this day.
Nice. That's good. How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when your father passed?
My father passed in 2019, actually.
2019, okay. Were you close?
Yeah. We were close. Yep.
And siblings?
I have a lot of siblings.
Yeah. Okay.
Some I haven't met yet. Some I've met.
Is it difficult for you to talk about?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah. Is it like, because of, are you embarrassed, or is it just something that it brings back certain memories that you don't want to go back to, or just really haven't thought of it?
I mean, honestly, growing up, I didn't grow up around my siblings. I didn't grow up around, you know, my biological siblings growing up.
Yeah.
My mom that raised me, you know, had kids in the household, and we had a couple cousins live with us.
Mm-hmm.
And she raised us in the household, and that's basically who I grew up around.
Your sisters seemed really fun.
Yeah.
And nice.
They're funny.
Like right off the bat, the FaceTime in the cafe and then the barbecue. Yeah, it was nice of them.
Yeah.
They seem like really high energy, good. What does your sister do? What does she do for work?
Well, I have like 6 or 7 of them. Which one?
Oh, okay. The one we met or was on FaceTime.
Oh, those, they don't live up here in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. They're out of state. I gotcha.
Yeah, we were talking on video chat.
Nice.
On Messenger.
Nice. You know, you mentioned your mom raising you. I have a fantastic mother. I really, you know, it's amazing. She's the strongest woman. And, you know, my life from the very beginning, if anything, it was like self. And just between myself, my stepfather, and my brother, just exchanging tragedies through the years, you know, always been a very solid rock nurse, you know, yeah, just amazing. My stepfather had dementia. It was difficult on her. It was tough to see because, you know, he was very confused, and, you know, seeing a man that I really respected and looked up to, helping him in the bathroom, seeing the confusion and fear on his face. It's difficult, but like her being such a rock throughout that, such a respect for her. So shout out to mom. Absolutely. It's really important to have a strong woman.
Big shout out to mom. Big shout out to
absolutely.
Mom.
Absolutely, man. That's great. Any plans for Labor Day?
I don't know. Probably listen to the fireworks, because I'm pretty sure they probably have fireworks for that holiday. I think they usually do.
Just hanging out?
Most of my holidays are spent in the house.
So
I barely celebrate holidays because I'm alone. I don't have any kids, never been married. it's just another day for me.
Yeah. Do you feel lonely?
At times,
Yeah.
to be honest, yes. But that is not what I'm focused on.
No. Ladies, Mark is on the market. Just saying. What kind of women you like?
I mean, I know a lot of people say they want somebody like their mom. My mom told me, I forget if it was it my birth mother or my mom that raised me, or was it my sister my first sister that I've known since I was young, before I met the other ones. I forget which one of them told me, but they told me it was like, it's gonna take a strong-minded woman to deal with you. And I just looked at her like, And when she said it, it really didn't dawn on me at first, but then I thought about it and I looked at my life and I'm like, maybe she's right.
Is that because of independence? Are you really independent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And it's like I've worked with my dad off and on throughout the years growing up with him, because I was the only child that he had around him growing up. Why? I don't know. Everything is still a mystery. A lot of things are still a mystery to me. But
yeah, I'm sorry, Mark. So you're saying that you were the only child that he was actively involved in raising,
right,
for your family. And how many siblings do you know that you have?
Well, now, I didn't know when I was younger. I was told this by one of my uncles when my father passed, that I have anywhere between 13 to 28 other siblings.
Wow. That's a lot of baby making.
Yeah, he was definitely one of those Rolling Stones.
Sure.
He was definitely a Rolling Stone. Yeah, but like I said, he kept me for whatever reason. He kept me around. You know, I guess he wanted the son to follow in his footsteps or whatever.
Yeah,
because obviously, I'm guessing he had a lot of girls, so I guess I thought I was the only son until I met another younger brother when I was younger.
Was there a little bit of resentment there that you didn't know earlier? How did that make you feel when you found out that I have all these other siblings, just later on in life like that?
Yeah, I felt some type of way, but it was nothing I could do about it, so I just let it be.
Yeah, I feel like if I even had a half sibling and didn't know about it and found out later, it would annoy me. And those siblings, those are, you don't know who they are, nobody you maintain contact with or anything.
I mean, I've met, besides the siblings that you saw on video chat,
yeah,
those were just a few. Some of the ones that I met.
Yeah.
But others, I have no clue, no idea about how to go about how to go about looking for them or finding them, or even if they even want to be found. So I just leave it in God's hands. You know, it is what it is.
Are you someone that has faith?
I have faith. You know, I'm a spiritual person. I grew up in a Baptist church. I was baptized when I was going to church when I was younger. But, you know, life events, life situations, you know, I've found myself physically staying away. Not staying away, but not being in the physical church, but keeping God and keeping church within myself.
Okay.
Because
that I get.
Because as they say, your body is a temple that God created. And you don't necessarily have to be physically in church in order to experience what spirituality and what the higher power is.
I agree with that.
And like I said, I understood that a long time ago, right? And that's why I carry myself the way that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm better than anybody, because I've never looked at myself as being better than anybody. And because I stayed away from a lot of things, I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else that's been in those things that I stayed away from. I'm not saying none of that at all. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get that misconstrued, or
Yeah, I understand.
Because I'm not that type of person. I don't look at things like that.
And with Lorenzo, really great, talented person. Spent some time with him, and there was a period of time where strong personality too. I wasn't used to ever working with an artist. I thought maybe I could consult in some aspect. He wanted to stick with the art aspect of it, which was great and fine. I could tell a little bit when him and I had a bit of a disagreement that made you really uncomfortable at the table.
Yeah, when we went to what was that restaurant?
I think we ate meatballs.
Yeah, we had meatballs.
Yeah,
we had.
They're good.
Yeah, I think we had a meatball sandwich,
coal-fired pizza.
Right.
Yeah.
It did make me feel like, what am I getting myself into? Like, like.
Yeah.
Okay, here I'm sitting in front of a guy I never met. I'm sitting in front of another guy who introduced me to this guy, and they're sitting here at the table going at it, and I'm looking like.
Yeah, we became fast friends. That's why. And
what?
we both have kind of, he had kind of strong personality. I do want to ask him and send this over too to see if we could have him come on. He'd be great, because really meeting him was the first thing that ended up this starting at all. Just like seeing him and paying for the painting and stuff like that. And I did like his artwork too. I thought it was talented, and that hustle. So,
Yeah, he told me you paid for him. You paid. You bought a couple of his pieces.
I did, and I did what I thought he was worth, because I felt like not just the art, him.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I enjoy it. I really do. I just want to sit down with more people that are just so different than me. Complete opposites on every angle. And I know this is something that is going to be eventually extremely controversial, but it's just the way it is. And we've had this conversation, so I just want to bring it up again. So and I'll mention Daryl, right? Somebody who has been in prison.
Life is controversial, so.
Yeah. With Daryl, a guy, or just anybody with prison, certain things like that, I'm sure I've never been, so I'm not going to pre-assume, but it most likely is race, right? It gets split in certain divides or gangs, I'm not fully sure there, but if there's, go ahead.
Well, I mean, what are you referring to, like?
In prison, when somebody goes in, is it usually race?
No.
It's not? Okay. So it usually is then affiliation with just friends, or?
Not even that. Is people go to prison for things that they done.
No, I mean like
whether it don't matter what race you are. You go to prison for what you've done. Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't matter what race. Like,
yeah.
I mean, statistically, yeah, there are more blacks in prison than any other race. But at the same time, when you go to prison, it's not about race. It's about doing your time for your crime.
So if I right now committed a felony and went, for me, at this stage, going in, it wouldn't be split like that. Like I wouldn't have to go to like a certain section there based on race. So it would be it would be just me doing my time.
You would go wherever. You will go to prison, and they will put you whatever area that they feel as though they're gonna put you at.
Okay, yeah, because with
I've personally never been to prison, so I can't really sit here and speak on it, to be honest. But growing up and hearing stories I can at least give my observation of hearing and talking to people who has been in prison. I can give my observation of based off what the conversations I've had with people and my observation of things.
Yeah, and this is a great conversation to have because clearly I have some misperceptions. And also, I want to bring those up and recognize those. And
yeah, I've been locked up. I've been to jail. I've been to the county, but I've never been to prison.
And the reason why I brought this up too is because like alluding to like with Dale, there are some things that get said, or like say someone comes in who's white and drops the N-word. In context, no matter what it is. What do you think about that if after I say, hey, this is something that the Wave Foundation and CK Equipment, our team on both sides do not condone or something like this. However, it is an open, free conversation and it's real.
I mean, them using that word, if they don't know by now that word can get people in a situation that either one or both parties are going to either one end up in jail, or one or the other party is going to end, truth be told, God forbid, end up dead. I mean, like, just plain and simple. There's just no way there's no other way to go around that, because using that word and how you use it, and there are two definitions, by the way. But for a person like you, not you personally, but like you, like white person,
sure,
using that word and not knowing the context of what they're saying and not knowing, and they just come out and just say it, they can,
yeah, oh yeah,
they can get themselves hurt.
Sure,
that's why people need to do research and watch what they say to other people. Whether it's black, white, China, I don't care if you're any color, every color in the rainbow. Watch how you talk to people.
But I think we're an example of that, and we've already proved that it's possible, because from a human level, we spoke to each other that way. And look at where we are right now. We're sitting with mics and a weird headphone on in this thing with lights on. There's something a little bit different about our interaction and what is happening now. But, the reason why I brought that up and it went into that is because of not telling people, hey, listen, like, you can't say that, because I'm sure there's going to be all walks of life. And if I say, hey, coming in, you can't say certain things. Yeah, I don't want to unfilter it or make people feel like, I think it would be a conversation if we were sitting having a beer or a coffee or a meal, so I feel like I want to keep it that way, because it would be something that someone would say normally. So then it could be addressed. At least it comes to light and it's said.
Right. There. But at the same time, addressing that at the beginning when it's first said is the most important part, because it will let that person know, or people know, that, yeah, it is an open platform. You can say, how you feel, but there is a level to what you can and can't say on the air, or on, what the policy of, you get what I'm saying? What's, like you said, what's going to be tolerated, what's not going to be tolerated. Plain and simple.
But you think that saying, like, disclaimer prior, hey, listen, no, this is in the conversation, it's how it's flowing, it's a natural conversation, we didn't take it out, but we don't condone it.
Right. And it also depends on, the topic, what's being talked about. Yeah. But at the same time, not every topic has to be about that N-word, or not every topic.
No,
it doesn't have to evolve around that.
No, and because we've built that trust and we're friends, I was curious what your perspective. And I think that people could sit down and have, like we are, kind of a calm, normal chat about it, right? Because it's real stuff. I mean, if anything, the way you get to the root of anything is to have a talk about it and to bring it up and kind of address it first, no? So recognize it's there. And then, but it's interesting.
The first solution to a problem is recognizing there is a problem. The second thing is problem solving. How do we solve this problem?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do we deal with it? How do we?
I think that it is just people, everyday people. If you're in line somewhere or, you know, we pass by, just saying hi to somebody in the trail, if somebody's hiking, more interaction, more humanity, things like that, just asking questions to get to know people. You could tell, I mean, sometimes people just want to go where they want to go. That happens. I get like that. Sometimes I'm going to the store, I have a one-track mind, or I'm at the gym, certain things like that. There's a time and a place, but balancing it out and being intentional with that. Single mother in front of you or behind, slipping your card in to pay, offering even though they may not take it a cop to get a coffee. You know, having conversations like we did or trying to help somebody. And that to me, I think, really I don't see any other way than from the inside out, each individual. Just doing a little bit of task themselves because it's our responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, I've had somebody tell me, you know, you're being too nice. You know, I've had people tell me that all my life. Like, you're too nice. You're too quiet. You're too this. My whole thing is like, I'd rather be who and how I am than to be what people perceive me as. Like, I came to terms with my personality and who I am at a young age. Like I said before, like, there's nothing I can do about that. This is who I am. I've made mistakes. I've done bad things. We all have. When nobody's perfect.
No.
Nobody's perfect. I don't care if you're every color of the rainbow. Yep. You're not perfect.
Right.
And the people that act like they are, or, you know, it's funny to me. Yeah. Like, I could just, like, I see people sometimes and I don't judge people, but I can see. It's like, you know how some people.
But back to, are you manifesting what you're looking for?
As far as like within myself or in life general?
Yeah, are you manifesting what you're looking for? Are you looking for that in someone?
No, I expect people to be who they are.
But how can you know somebody at first glance, like what their emotions are, if they're just doing
like I don't expect to know somebody on first glance. I feel the energy.
Okay.
I'm energy based.
Is that play into your artwork? So do you feel a lot? And what's your style? What do you put into your artwork? Like, do you have a particular like way you go about your artwork or creative process? Do you have a creative process?
As far as like when I'm sketching, not really. It's just, if I like something that I see, I sketch it, or I take a picture of it and I sketch it out. Most of everything is self-taught. I used to work with my father doing interior remodeling and repair. So that's where the visual part comes in at. Mm-hmm. The hands-on work comes in at.
Is that where your passion for that comes from? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an Instagram?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is MRMHK7518 @gmail.com. Mr. MHK7518 @gmail.com.
And jump in if I'm misrepresenting like your art or your thing at all. I almost feel like with your style, that classic sketch, that it is good for, like we talked about with the taco truck. So tailored towards marketing, tailored towards a storefront. Hey, I could give you this to put up on your wall. It's a classic sketch. You know, you have your initials on it, things like that. I feel like looking at your work, it may be a good niche for that, because a lot of this stuff with design is digital now. You know, the young guys that are coming in, they're using 3D dimensional drawings, and now virtual reality, and so
and see, that's why
you got to get a niche.
That's why I personally, like I said, I want to stick to the old-fashioned sit down, take the time and sketch, and not rush and put in the work and the hours, and old-fashioned sketch. That's what I'm sticking to.
I remember when, we were sitting down at the big table in the cafe, and I was asking you, or we were just discussing what type of furniture and things like that. And you had the page flipped a little bit. I couldn't see it. And I thought you were taking notes. You were just writing while we were talking. And then you flipped the page and you had an entire drawing almost sketched out. I was like, whoa, you just did that right now?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, because I was taking...
You did it really fast.
Yeah, because I was taking the first draft that I did, and then trying to redo it, right then and there with the different colored chairs, with the brown chairs, with the blue couch, and then incorporate the area rug. And things
We've
like
used
that.
a few things so far, and that area rug we're probably going to end up getting. It looks likely. We got to see, of course. You know, Kristen has to approve that, but we'll see. I think it's
all
nice
down.
though.
It's all down to the wife
like
to approve. It's all down to the wife to approve.
You know, it's great, man. It's been a transition. So a week and a half, we've had an apartment. It kind of ended up that way with us.
So y'all been in there for a week and a half now.
A week and a half. We didn't move in right away when we were engaged, and really that was my kind of taking a step back for career-wise to purchase a company. I moved in, and also it was convenient because at the time my mom or my stepfather was going through what he was going through. So I was able to stay there, save money for NCK equipment. I purchased it from, his name is Ray Marone. And, you know, I got to say, like, he was such a good influence and great mentor. So when I purchased the business and COVID hit too, he every day was consistently the most positive person that I ever met. Like, hey, high energy. Yeah, hey, how's it going? We're going to be all right when COVID hit. Never really brought it up. That was it. And the deal that we put together on paper, it was kind of hefty. It was tough to meet. But looking back, I realized that it was that encouragement the entire time. You know, the things that he was presenting and that positive leadership aspect really was it. And my goal early on with the company was to kind of bottle that up the best way I could, to create a structure around that for the culture of the company. And it's just been such a great blessing to come across Wave. We used to, when things were going great, you riding the wave? Yeah, we're on the wave. We're riding the wave. So to be able to honor the gift of the mentorship, and looking back, I have had really good guys that have mentored me at the times that I needed in my career as well.
Nice.
So shout out to Ray. Thank you so much for everything. NCK and Wave, I think, is going to be a little bit different than we thought originally in a good way. And, you know, I really value our friendship too, man. I love like hanging out, grabbing some tacos, interacting with people. It's a fun time. And yeah, I can't look at anything the same. And
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Obviously, you know, God, the higher power that be, as I like to say, brought us together through another gentleman. And, you know, I thank God that, you know, I had the privilege of meeting the both of you. Because if I wouldn't have met him, I probably wouldn't have met you.
Same here. It was a divine interaction, my friend. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here, sharing your story. So are you on any dating app or anything like that? Women? Mark right here. What's your type?
I used to say I want women that's either my height or like shorter.
How
like
tall are
short
you?
women. I'm 5'6".
Okay.
But I don't know. It's like now I'm just, at a point where whatever woman the higher power God has for me will come to me, will find me someday, hopefully sooner than later. Or
Shout out to Mark's future woman. When you see this, hit him up. You have an Instagram. It's all good.
Our Instagram again, by the way, is Mr. lowercase MHK 7518 at gmail.com.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Good deal. Thanks everyone for joining us at the Wave Podcast. If you like the content and want to see more, please subscribe to all our social media platforms. They'll be listed below. See you next time.